Okie dokie, we have scuffed the entire guitar using 600 wet and dry paper, as mentioned before. As you can see, it's no longer shiny. It now looks bloody horrible, to be honest. You can probably see all my fingerprints all over it. Of course, skin is oily, greasy. So depending on what paint system you're using, you'll need to degrease it. I'm using water-based paint and I've run out of my normal degreaser, so for now, lighter fluid. Obviously be careful, it's flammable, be sensible. But yeah, just a little bit of this on a bit of tissue. Don't soak it though, you don't want to drown it. That's only a little bit on the tissue, it's not a vast amount. Just give the guitar a quick wipe down with that. Just to make sure all grease is gone from the surface. Because if your surface is greasy, then your paint might come off. Not so much so with solvent paint, but I'm using water-based for this, so have to be careful. There we go. It's all evaporated, as you saw while I was wiping it there. That way. So it's now ready for the primer or base coat. Like I say, I'm using a paint brand called Auto Air for this. Go in my paint cupboard. There we go. Base coat sealer white for this, because I'll be drawing the design onto it. So they do a base coat sealer dark, which funny enough is black. You'll see as I do it, you don't slap it on, because you'll have adhesion problems. Just working light coats with Auto Air. Obviously, depending on what paint system you're using, check with the user guide for your paints. I use Auto Air, E-Tac now and again if I'm doing really tight detail. But they're all water based, so this video will be good if you're using water based paint. But if you're using solvent or anything else, then and check with your guide or the manufacturer's website or whatever. They've normally got a little user guide or whatever for their paints, so follow that. But yeah, this is for Auto Air, so let's make it white, shall we? Okay, I've cleaned my airbrush because I left some paint in there, so that's all clean. It's got some Auto Air base coat sealer white in it, straight out of the bottle. I haven't reduced it at all. This is a 0.5 airbrush. It's got a 0.5 needle on it. I think it cost me about 10 quid from eBay. You don't need anything special for a base coat really. As long as it gets the paint on the surface, it'll do. So yeah, 0.5 airbrush, nice and cheap. You can use a 0.3 or what have you. Most people would use a gun for this kind of thing, big spray gun. But my big compressor is a bit broken because big spray guns need a lot more air to run. So I'll have to use my airbrush for this. So yeah, 0.5 airbrush, also air base coat sealer white, straight out of the pot, and away we go. Gonna make a lot of mess. Mask is needed. It's good to wear a mask at all times really. I don't normally bother because I'm naughty, basically, unless I'm doing something that's going to make a lot of mess, a lot of overspray like the first coat here. So here we go. Now when I have this on, you can't hear anything, but it'll look pretty cool. Okay, that's how she looks after the first coat. As you can see, we haven't got total coverage. Like I say, with Auto Air you work in light coats, don't slap it on. Not a really light dusting coat, slightly heavier than that. But you can still see the streaks in it, what have you. Once you've done that, because it's water-based paint, solvent paint dries pretty much instantly as you spray it, but water-based paint doesn't. Regular household heat gun. Obviously be careful, these things kick out a lot of heat. If you heat that up too much, then it's going to bubble and come off, and of course you'll burn it, and of course the guitar is wood, you don't want to get it too hot. So yeah, heat setting number 1, which is fairly hot anyway, but just lightly go over it. Don't hang around in one area for too long, because like I say, you'll heat the guitar up. You'll get it too hot in one area, and then you'll have problems. And that's it. All nice and dry. So, now for coat number 2. Okay, there's your second coat. You can still see the lines in it. We haven't gone for total coverage yet. It's the same drill again. It wasn't a really light Justin coat, but it was a light coat nonetheless. So that's done. So again, need to heat set it. Same drill. When I do that, I don't think you can see it on the camera, I'm holding that a couple of inches off the surface, just in case you were wondering. So that's that coat, all nice and dry now. Yep. If you touch it and it feels hot, by the way, your heat is setting too much. You can't really see it when you're doing these light dust coats, but the paint will look glossy. And it'll have a shine to it when it's wet, if you've laid it on thick enough. Like I say, dust coats, you don't really see it, but yeah, if it's shiny, then it will still be wet. It goes matte once it's dry. So if you're laying down the paint heavy, you can see it drying. As you've got the heat on it, you'll just see it all go matte. So yeah, that's coat number 2. Now number 3. Hopefully you can still hear me. I've had to turn my extraction on. Coat 3 sorted. As you can see, coat 3 is where you start to worry about your coverage. So you can still see dark patches in that. I don't think you see it on the camera. No, I don't think you can. But there's still the odd little dark patch on here. But yeah, typically 4 or 5 coats of auto air I find is a good way to do it. So let's heat set this one. Also, where that coat was heavier than the first and second coats, you'll be able to see from this point on which bits are wet because they're glossy, and when it's dry it's matte. So it's at the third coat when you start to be able to see which bits are dry and which bits aren't. So yeah, we need, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 more coats on this, so let's do another one. Okay, that was coat number 4. It's all covered now, it's a nice solid white colour, you can't see any dark patches on it. Don't know if the camera will pick that up or not. But just to be on the safe side, once I think it's finished, I always then go in with one final coat, not a wet coat, just an average coverage. But for instance, I've been doing the whole guitar horizontal. I'll now go in one more coat vertically, just in case there's any dark patches that I can't see. It helps to eliminate them if you go in a different direction, I find. So we'll just do that quickly. There we have it. It's ready for a paint job.